All right, it looks like we are live. Let's see what Facebook does. Ah, there we go. It's redirecting. It's happening. It's happening. Okay, great. All right. So we are live. So good evening, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to give a few minutes for anybody else to get in. While we're waiting for people to get in, let's do a check-in. What was how was your break? What was your favorite thing that happened in during our hiatus? And we went dark from Thanksgiving through Christmas to today. So may have been a lot happening. What's your favorite thing that happened during this holiday break? Don't everybody go at once. I think I have some things in the chat.
Hey, good.
Hey,
Happy
Alita.
New Year.
Yeah, that
You look
was
so
Dr. Brenda. Hi, Dr.
beautiful.
Brenda. Happy New Year.
You
Yes,
look
yes,
so
yes.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm telling you, my favorite thing that happened, we have a new president. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else? Favorite thing that happened over the holidays? I'll tell you mine, and I don't have them here to share because I have books everywhere. I realize I'm a book lover because I was looking for a copy of my book and I ran across this. Now you know you got a problem when you got two copies of the same book. I ain't that much reading in the world. I can't. Did they put extra pages in this one? No, it's the same. Both of them are 216 pages. They just so that's how you know you have a problem. And I have multiple things like that. Like there's another one there called the upside of stress or something like that. And I got two copies of that. So I got two copies of Becoming. It's like I am clearly a book lover. But the two books that I read over the break that really made the difference for me was a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Do you guys know this book? Deep Work by Cal Newport. I will put it in the chat. That book for me was a game changer. It really, I came back from the break realizing that I can no longer just go through my day without well, it helped me develop a deeper level of intention around my day. So okay, I'm letting somebody in. Let me make sure these share permissions are just to me. Yeah, only host. Okay. We've had some hacks, and so I am doing things a little bit differently this time because you know I'm not going to be available for the nonsense. So Deep Works, I just put the text in there. That was one of them. And then the other book that made a difference was 15 Secrets Successful People Know About Time. No, 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 no. I mean, yes to that one. I did finish that one. So this break, I use this break as a chance to slow down, to read, to really just like reconnect and to like feed myself. And I don't mean feed like food, but I mean feed like um just to get in touch with who I am and what it is that I need in order to prosper and to thrive. And the reason that Deep Work was so powerful is that it really helped me see what it means to just do the work that is yours to do and nothing else. And that's a really powerful position to take because all of us have something that only we can do. And it's that thing that only we can do that makes us valuable to the world. It's our, to use the language from the 5 a.m. club, our gargantuan competitive advantage. And very often we're not doing that work. We're farming it out, or not doing it at all. And so we are constantly on the chopping block when it comes to our jobs or other things like that. But if you do the thing that only you can do, you make yourself indispensable. And so that book for me was a game changer. And so I went from that book to 15 secrets successful people know about time management. And so there was a lot of good stuff in there. And then I just finished 2 days ago, the 5 a.m. club. That shifted everything. So those three books shifted the way I run my life. It changed what I'm doing now with the Bible Hangout, like how I'm doing it. It's influenced a lot. Anybody else? What you did over the break? Your favorite thing about the break? And I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Anybody else? Nobody had a good break? Nice. Constance said, I had an article written about me in the Baltimore Times. You got to tell me more about that. That's huge.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go, please.
Well, it was just an article written about me in the Baltimore Times about all the gifts that I have been blessed with. My crocheting, my cards, my bling cards, my flower cards, and the just all the stuff that God has gifted me with, and how I use it to assist other people. I'm in a crochet club, and we just did a big drive where we crocheted hats and stuff for the homeless, and the people were given that. So it was just a nice article. I was trying to find the link, but I'll find it and put it in the chat room. But that was a nice gift. That was a nice gift.
That's a totally great Christmas present. Thanks, God. Anybody else? Rashi, what about you?
Well, I got to spend time with my niece and nephew. And I was walking a lot, and then I had a trip, and didn't realize I still had insurance, and my insurance still covers me even though I haven't worked for since March, and I still had insurance, so that was a good thing.
Nice.
Yeah. And even though I had a fracture, it's not as a doctor put it, if you would have a fracture, you would want a fracture like yours, because it's pretty easy for you to, you're gonna heal pretty good. You're not gonna need surgery or anything. And if you want to come back to the doctor and have an x-ray, you can, but you should be healing fine. You may not even need an x-ray, so it's just telling me to relax. Just relax. Yes. Take it easy. That was it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else? Maybe one more person. Anything from the holidays, Rose? What about you? And I don't know who's 919. I think that's a North Carolina area code, 919. Anything from the break? Your favorite thing from the break? And you can put it in the chat. I'll read it if you don't want to turn on your microphone. You don't, I won't nudge you to turn on the microphone. Oh, and I should check. Let me check Facebook because there may be comments there. I don't want to miss that. No. Wonderful. All right. So We are here for a new season of the Bible Hangout. And I'm doing things differently this year. So I want to talk about what the layout of the year looks like. The Bible Hangout is something that starts a something. It is a Bible study. It's a weekly Bible study. It ended up on Thursday nights because Reverend Della had a class on Wednesday nights. So that's why it's on Thursday nights. Um, it started in 2013, and I was teaching Bible, which is one of my passions. And I honestly ran out of time to teach the material. And so I started teaching. I'd heard of this thing called the Google Hangout. And I decided, well, let me try this teaching on the Google Hangout. And that's actually why it's called the Bible Hangout, because I was like, okay, we're going to be on Google Hangout studying the Bible. We'll call it the Bible Hangout. And in my mind, I had this idea of like this in-person thing where we're sitting on like cushions, like at like a poetry cafe, and just kind of talking about scripture and things like that. That was what I had in my mind. And I couldn't figure out how to afford a physical space. And so I decided, let me do it online. So that is the true genesis of how this thing came together. And here we are. So 2013, 7 years later, still getting together on Thursday nights. The group has grown, it's shrunk, it's expanded. It's like through different iterations. Some of you have been here since the beginning, like since like day one, before it was like Google Hangouts Live. It was like the private Google Hangout. Shout out Alita. And so I want to thank you for just being a part of this. This is my give. This what I'm teaching you is something that has made an enormous difference in my experience. It has changed my life dramatically. It's been responsible for all of the prosperity in my life. This approach to the Bible and this type of study. We haven't just studied the Bible. We've studied other spiritual texts. And so I will continue to be here on Thursday nights. Something that I did learn, and this came out of deep work, and this was why I said that those two books really made a difference for me over the holidays, is the necessity for rest. Now, normally what I do is I take off between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's the only break that I do during the year. But I'm organizing myself differently. So I even changed like how I run my day. And so I make sure now, without fail, that I get at least 7.5 hours of sleep a night. That's a major like thing for me, because I am someone type A personality, driven, ambitious. I have been that person that said you can sleep when you're dead. And I changed. That's the bottom line. I changed. And so the other thing that changed was building in rest. And I think what part of what influenced it is that this year, 2020 was wonderful in the sense that it clarified so many things. And I got to a space near the end of the year in September where I got sick for me, where I had a headache for 4 days that would not stop, and scared the mess out of me because I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what it was. And so I was very, very concerned. And so I prayed for an answer, and I didn't know this was the answers I was getting. I was just following intuition after the prayer, but I picked up the 4 agreements, and I read this statement that said, you can measure the impeccability of your word by the degree of your self-love. And that statement just jumped out at me because I thought about self-love, and I knew about the things that I didn't like about myself or that I wasn't comfortable with about myself. And it started me on this journey of just self-love. Now I'm not thinking about the headaches anymore. I've moved past that 4-day experience. I still don't know the answer to it or whatever, but I'm following the guidance that I'm getting. And so I start this challenge. I issued it, and I did it as a sermon series. And then I issued this challenge called the 30 Days of Self-Love. And I created this tracker, and I created a PDF and put the tracker out for people to use. And I said, I'm just going to test it out. And I said, my commitment is to do it for 30 days. And ideally at the end of 30 days, I'm going to renew it. Well, something interesting happened. I stopped having headaches, and I was completely blown away. Like, okay. And so I started to dissect, like, what was different, like what was happening that I wasn't having the experience. And I would have headaches where it's just debilitating, where I'm just, non-functioning, and I just like, I gotta go get into bed. And it is hard to pinpoint. Is it allergies? Did I wait too late to eat? Did I, and what it really came down to, from what I looked, the only thing that was different was that I had this active experience of doing something sweet and tender for myself every day. I had no idea. And since then, I can count on one hand the days when I have had headaches, and they typically have been tied to days where, for whatever reason, the way the day was structured, I didn't get to my self-love activity. And so I say all that to say that it influenced now how I approach everything. And I really understand the value of taking care of myself and not living for the vacation, right? That some people, like, they work so that they can go on vacation. I vacation so that I can come back and work better, which means I vacation more often. And so this year, one of the things that I'm doing is that every quarter I'm taking a week off. And so this first quarter for the Bible Hangout will run through March 25th. And then the week of March 31st, I think it is, or whatever that week is after the 25th, it's the week of Easter, leading up to Easter. I'm taking off. And so we won't have a Bible Hangout that Thursday, because I consider that my think week. I just need space to think. And then I'm the same thing for the second quarter. So it'll be the final week of every quarter where I'll take a break and then we'll come back. So we'll have 4 breaks, out of the year. And of course, then the Christmas break to take some time to really, really shut down and go in. But I say all that to say, just to give you a sense of the landscape. And so, Alita says, may I ask what you did? Tell me what you mean. Oh, in terms of what you, Alita, give me, I'm not sure what the question is referring to.
In taking care of yourself, what?
Oh, it has varied. So sometimes it's as simple as read. So what I came to were some go-to things, which were reading, artwork, like doing some type of art activity. Like, I have these adult coloring books. I also have these paint sets and things, and hanging with friends. So those are my 3 go-to. But sometimes my self-love activity might be, I took myself to the LA Arboretum and just walked around the Arboretum and just let the nature be healing for me. Other times I might have taken a long drive and just gone down to the beach. One night I treated myself to a really nice meal and didn't eat it out of the carton, like put it on a plate. I don't drink anymore because turns out I'm not, the sulfates and alcohol are not so kind to me. But I put my juice in the champagne flute. So it has varied. And then I've been at first I was trying to do a bunch of different things, but what I came to is to find some things that can be my go-to things, and then I can build in special days during the month. So this month I have 2 things that are like out of the traditional list that I use, which is the reading, the artwork, and the hanging out with friends. And I went to Descanso Gardens, already knocked that one off of the list. And then later this month, I'm going to go to the LA Arboretum, because I find that nature is restorative for me and is a way for me to love myself. But it's the freedom from the headaches. And I didn't, when I picked up Miguel's book, when I started the I didn't know that it was going to be the answer to that prayer. I did not know that. I was simply, as I get into it, intuitive nudges, I didn't tie it, like in my mind, I hadn't tied it as an answer to the prayer. It wasn't until I had gone through an entire month and not had an episode that I started looking around saying, and then the second month came and no episodes. And I'm like, and then the next month came and I think I had one down day around like Christmas because it didn't do very well taking care of myself on Christmas Day. And so now I'm sitting there going, this is interesting. So I can say, I feel confident saying that it is tied to me not taking care of me. So all of that is a long explanation to tell you how the Bible Hangout is structured for 2021, that we will work in quarters, and because I will be taking time off to take care of me. Let's take a moment to have an opening prayer, do some kind of opening. Let's take a moment. So right where you are, if you would just center yourself and take a deep centering breath. We open our hearts and our minds to grow, to expand, to become who and what we might have been. It is never too late to pick up the charge, to stretch into the men and women of God that we've been designed to be. Our intention is growth. Our intention is to manifest the kingdom through our experience. And what we ask for is a deepened awareness of who we are. Thank you, Spirit. In the name and nature, and through the power and the consciousness of I am, this prayer is so. And so it is. And amen. So for this first quarter, we are going to do a study of my book, The Money Poems. And at first I was going to start tonight, and I realized some of you may not have the book. You can find it on Amazon. So let me go here. I can share my screen. You can find it on Amazon if you don't already have it in your library. It's not a long read, but we're going to take our time and go through it because I want it to stick. There is, there's a quote, and I posted it earlier today. Hold on. So this is the book on Amazon. It's $12, easy. And it's a simple system for daily abundance. And so I want to walk you through the text. We're going to talk about the parable that is in the story. And then after the parable, I walk you through the principles that are demonstrated in the text. And this is a really just powerful short study in abundance. And even though the book is like 70 pages, it's very, very deceptive because it's really jam-packed with a lot of principle. And the thing that I have learned about abundance is that it is a function of your habits, that it's in the same way that you cannot say that you have a health consciousness and you have a health consciousness and you all you eat are cakes and pies and cookies, you also cannot have a wealth consciousness without the evidence of it, that your habits prove your consciousness. And thank you, Dr. Brenda. She said it is also available on Kindle. Yes, there's actually also an audiobook that I recorded and I need to get up. I just didn't know how to get it up on Audible. And so I needed to find someone to help me figure out how to do that. So there is an audiobook of it, of me reading the text. But I say all that to say that I want to dive into this because this was a quote that I posted earlier today, which is the trajectory of your life bends in the direction of your habits. The trajectory of your life bends in the direction of your habits. You can look at a result and backtrack through the habits that created that result. And if you get, there's a book I'm finishing right now, and he has a quote that I want to use. This is what I'm reading right now, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And he has a quote that I think is really powerful, and I don't see any reason not to share it because it's exactly what I teach. I want to read it the way that he says it. That money is a result, wealth is a result, health is a result, illness is a result, your weight is a result. We live in a world of cause and effect. What the money poem gives you is it puts in your hands the seeds that, when planted, produce the result. You must plant the seed for wealth if you are going to have wealth, in the same way that you must plant the seed for health. Again, cakes, pies, cookies, all these wonderful, delicious things that we all ate over the holidays, those things are seeds that, when planted in your body through you eating them, they are going to produce a result. And so it's the same thing with your money, that there are habits of mind, and there are habits in terms of behavior that, when you plant them by doing them, they produce a result. And with money, there is an inner game and there is an outer game. And the inner game and the outer game have to be pointed in the same direction. And so what the money poems does is it really helps you get that inner game in order. Now, mind you, I had not read this book the money poems were written in 2015. This book predates it, but I had not read this book before I wrote the money poems. I wasn't aware. I don't think I was aware of T. Harv Eker. I think I learned about him afterwards. But something that he says that I think is powerful, and it's a principle that we talk about in the money poems, is this financial blueprint. I think we talked about it as just your consciousness, just abundance consciousness, that each one of us has a consciousness that is set at a certain temperature as far as money is concerned. And when we get too far outside of that temperature, we will create circumstances, meaning that if you have a windfall of money or an outflow of money, could be either or. If wherever your thermostat is set in terms of the amount of money that you are comfortable with, if too much money comes in, you will find a way. It might leave by accident. It might leave by deliberate choice. But it will find a way to leave so that you can get back to the amount of money that you are comfortable having in your possession. And the same thing is true if your money gets too low. that your internal mechanisms, your internal sense of self will kick in, and you will create a circumstance so that you can get back up to the number that you feel comfortable with. So this inner game of money that we're going to be exploring through the money poems is enormously important. It is not a substitute for the outer habits. It is a complement. It is an indispensable complement to the outer habits of having money. Any questions so far? Any comments? Anything came up? Y'all quiet tonight. Y'all gonna have to wait. Is everybody up? We need to do a stretch, our half-hour stretch. Ms. Rashi, you're unmuted. We got any comments?
No, I unmuted.
Yes, go ahead, Malala.
I just wanted to add to what
Happy
you
New
said about.
Year.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. I just wanted to add that I just also just realized how like I don't want to use the word small-minded, but maybe it's small-minded I was when it comes to money. Like there's so much money out there, but I usually find myself running away from it. Because even at my work, when I'm when I'm offered tips, sometimes I find myself running away from it, and I have to constantly remind myself that there's so much money out there. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you? And so, may I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
What do you think the running away is about?
I think it's has to do with maybe the environment I grew up in. Maybe I didn't get to see so much money, so it's kind of like alien to me. Maybe. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure. I've always had big dreams and ambitions, so I'm not running away from it. It's my goal. It's just I'm not. Maybe I'm not sure what it is, but because I once talked myself out of giving, out of a tip from somebody. I don't know why. Like it's this sabotaging thing I do to myself. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So a good habit to start to uncover that is journaling. Are you a journaler?
Yeah. Well, I do my best.
That may be something to just put some pages in on to begin to understand, like, what is this about? What is this about? Like, what is it that is I don't know if the word is interfering, but what is it that is what's blocking? Because the thing is that a money consciousness has evidence. A money consciousness has evidence, just like a health consciousness has evidence.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw someone walking around and they were overweight or severely underweight, let's say that. I'm not, because we always go in the opposite direction, but could be severely underweight, right? And the skin's not right, and they're constantly tired and don't have any energy, and that person can't claim a health consciousness. Again, because your consciousness proves itself in the result. And so the question that you want to begin to ask is, what habits do I need to pick up in order to prove a money consciousness? Where most people go is on the spending end and trying to look rich rather than actually being rich. What do you think? And why you about to, before you say that, Constance says stretch. Yes, but go ahead. So what came up?
As to
Well, I
why.
did.
Excuse me. I thought you were talking to me.
I was, but Constance, you too. Mm-hmm.
I did start a little savings plan where I have PayPal taking money out of my account on a certain date every month so that I can at least know that I'm planning ahead. So I
Yes.
did start that process.
Yes. You must have that. Okay, I'm going to diverge a little bit. This is a little, I'll put on my financial professional hat. So let me share my screen. Where's the whiteboard? So one of the things that there's a difference between the way that the rich versus poor think about money. Okay. Rich people pay themselves first. I know you've probably heard this before. And then pay everything else. Conversely, poor people pay everyone else and then invest for their future. It sounds counterintuitive, but if you don't, you are telling money how to treat you when you make yourself the last person that receives from the fruit of your work. Does that make sense? You are telling money how to treat you when you decide that I'm going to pay everybody else except myself. Because what happens in this last equation, because you have prioritized everyone else, there often is very little left over for you. What makes someone rich or puts them in position to be rich, because the thing is that you don't get rich and then pay yourself first. You pay yourself first on the road to becoming wealthy. So maybe that's a thing to clarify. So the idea that I'm going to start paying myself first when I get money is like someone saying, you know what, I'm going to eat healthy once I lose weight. And it's like, no, if you want to lose weight, if you would, you got to eat right now. And so it's the same thing with money, that paying yourself first is the equivalent of, from a health standpoint, of eating fruits and vegetables. Because what you are doing is you are prioritizing your future self. There must always be a portion of your money making money on your behalf, even if it's $2, because it sets an intention in the universe that you intend to be wealthy. Alita says, I used to pay myself first, but I don't think I paid me enough. So let's talk about that, right? So there is a system that I use. It's not my system. I borrowed it from T. Harv Eker. And I don't know if I'll be able to draw this, but we'll do our best. Okay, this will work. So in this system, there are 6 jars. And in those jars, so the first one is what we would call your necessities. The second jar is what we would call your, long-term savings. The third jar is what we would call your financial freedom. The fourth jar we would call your give. The fifth jar we would call your play account. And the sixth jar we would call your education account. Now, in an ideal circumstance, you are putting, this is ideal, you are putting aside 5 to 10% in each of these jars. Now, the give for me is only 10%, but I think the reasons for that are obvious. Okay. And in education, it's 5 to 10%. Okay. And so what that leaves is anywhere from 50 to 80% that goes in your necessities. And so what goes in the necessities are like your house note, your rent, your insurance, your car note, groceries, your utilities, you know, maybe clothing, but whatever it takes for you to live. Your long-term savings account, what goes in that account these are like your big ticket items. So I'm saving to buy a new sofa. I am putting aside money because I'm going to buy myself a car. I'm going to pay cash. Or debt. You know, debt would be paid out of this account. Your financial freedom account, what makes something a financial freedom account or financial freedom expense is that it's buying your financial freedom for the future. So you could that could be like your 401k, that could be your or IRA or some other type of plan, but it could also be a business that's bringing you passive income. So it could go towards like a real estate investment where that is throwing off income for you or something like that. Your give account really should be first, but because I treat it as the first, but I put it fourth here. This is your tithe account, right? And so a tithe is 10%, so it's 10%. Your play account, let me go education first. Your education account, so this is not for the children's education. This is actually for your education. This is your to enhance you. You have to have a plan, a way that you are growing who you are and what it is that you know. And you have to continually expand your base. So this is that enrichment class. You know, I want to learn how to distribution strategies for retirement. I want to learn how to set up you wouldn't do a whole classes, but I want to learn how to manage my money, or I'm gonna take a debt reduction class or whatever. This is where that money comes from. So you already have that money set aside. Or if you're a personal development person like me, Tony Robbins is coming to town and it's $800 to go. Well, the money is already set aside. The play account, this is the account where you play. Like you could use it to treat yourself. The condition for the play account is that you have to spend it to zero every month or at least every quarter. And the idea is that even at the salary that you're at, even at the amount of money that you're at, that you need to have a portion of your money that you are enjoying, because you will never bring into your life more of what you do not enjoy. And that was one of the things that I learned, again, going through T. Harv Eker's program, the Millionaire Mind Intensive, that I kept making my enjoyment of money in the future. When I get out of debt, I'm going to enjoy money. But that's not how consciousness works. Consciousness works by bit, little by little, thought by thought, feeling by feeling. And so I have to start this moment right now at this salary, at this income, enjoying money. If I don't do it now, it's not going to happen in the future. And so what you do is you have that money that you're setting aside. And, you know, my favorite one is I'll go and buy a bunch of makeup, or I'll, spend it at Macy's or whatever, and blow the whole thing, like really, really, really enjoy it. The beauty of it is that it actually helped me with Jordan, because we would go to Target, and every day, every time we walk in, I want this, I want this. And now my thing is it the 30th? Because if it's not the 30th, it's not time to spend the play money. So what that system does is that it accomplishes what I said before, that rich people pay themselves first and then they invest the rest. And so you are taking off money, and now you can play around with those percentages. You can do 2% and all of those other things. The point is that you are setting an intention with money, and you are communicating to money. Money is like a living organism, and how you handle it communicates to it how it should handle you. And so when you pay yourself first, what you are saying to money is that I deserve money, that I'm worthy of money. And this is not, in my opinion, this is something that should be taught in every school. We all should have learned this when we were Jordan's age, so that now in our 40s, our 50s, 60s, 70s, that this would be a non-entity. But the beauty is that you can learn it right now. And when you set this kind of intention in your resources, it opens you up, and it's a game changer. And again, with anything that I teach, you don't have to trust me. Just test it out for yourself. Give yourself 90 days with the system that I just suggested, and just see what happens. See what happens. See if it brings you a result that you're happy with. Any questions?
I actually have a question.
Sure.
This is one of my roadblocks. How do you reconcile money with, especially the New Testament?
What do you mean?
I think that for me, most of the time I come across money in the New Testament, it's being talked about in a negative way. And so maybe that's affecting my thinking of it.
So give me an example. So you're talking about like the money changers?
Like one cannot serve God and money at the same time, stuff like that. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Right. So it's true, but it is true that you cannot serve God and money. Mm. This is what I just gave you is a system for making money your servant. Mm. Once I implemented that system, it changed my mind. So first thing is I committed to it, right? So it is I didn't go one toe in, one toe out. So I committed to it. But now that I'm, almost a year into the process, that what it has helped me do is to eliminate the worry about money. When you worry about money, money is your God.
So the process, you mean this system that you've shown us with the 6, okay.
Yes. It eliminated the worry, because let me tell you what happened. So I still have debt that I'm paying off. I've got student loans, I've got a car loan, and I've got debt that I owe to the HOA here that I live with, right? Just transparency. So what it helped me to do was that I could see the rate at which I was putting money into that long-term savings account. And so I could say with clarity, well, I know the car note's got to come out of that, because I don't consider the car note necessity. I consider the car note debt. So I'm paying it out of the debt account. So I got the car note coming out. So I could actually say with clarity to my HOA, this is how much money I can give you each month to pay down this back amount that I owe. Now I don't have any feeling about it. I can honor it. I can be in integrity with it. I'm not scraping trying to figure it out, because I'm constantly, every dollar that comes in, 5% goes into that account, period. So I'm constantly putting a little bit aside, and then from that pool, I pay the debt off. So, and again, this worked for me because I had my enjoyment of money in the future But once I got, and it was a statement that was made at the Millionaire Mind Intensive that said that you will never bring into your life more of what you do not enjoy. And because I understand how consciousness is built, the way you build and exercise consciousness is that you exercise, and you exercise every day. And then it becomes a part of your consciousness. And you start small. So maybe you start with 2 sit-ups and 2 push-ups. And then you go to 3 sit-ups and 3 push-ups. And then you go to 5 sit-ups and 5 push-ups. And then you just step your way to lifting and benching, 200 pounds. So it's a gradual thing. So when I heard that statement, it was one of those like you know the truth when you hear it. You know the truth by the way it makes you feel. It was like, I had delayed enjoyment into the future. You got to bring it into the present day. You got to enjoy money right where you are, but you have to do it in an orderly fashion.
And then what's this percentage though? What's this percentage of enjoyment, the right percentage of enjoyment?
5%. If you got $10, that means 50 cents, right? So every dollar that comes in, a nickel goes towards your enjoyment. So you're not being extravagant, you're being reasonable according to the money that's coming in for you. And so in the early days of this system, you might, again, you put it aside, and the idea is you spend it. Now, what I did is I spend it at the end of the month. So I don't do any of it during the month. I wait until the 30th and I splurge on the 30th. Okay. But you can do it every check that comes in. If you get multiple checks per month, every check that comes in, 5% comes off. And, I get to go buy myself a book, or I get to take myself to ain't nobody going to a movie now, but it's like, and then that's my budget for play. It's something, I tell you, it opens up opportunities. Just try it. Just commit to it for 90 days. And if it don't work, you can always go back to what you're doing now. Commit to it for 90 days, give it a run, and just see. I know it's going to make a difference. I know it will, because anything that you put intention in is going to get better.
Okay.
So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the money poem. So make sure you have the book. We'll start at the beginning, and dive right in. I'm excited to take this journey with you, and I'll send out an email with what I just sent to you tonight, so you'll have the percentages. But I tell you, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. How can I? You'd be surprised how fast the money builds up. You'd be very surprised how fast the money builds up. It does not take very long for it to build up. And then if you find that, I don't have enough in the necessities account after you put out, that's one of the things I found out, because the percentages that he gave was 10, 10, and 10. So basically 50% is left in the necessities account, and then 50% is split among the other 5 accounts. And what I found out was that I was not yet at the consciousness to do that. And so I had to adjust. So I kept my tithe at 10% because I don't play with that. But the others, I made 5%. And that's where I am right now. And it's killing debt. I've laid down some major debt. More debt is being dispersed as we speak. And then once that debt is gone, I'll be able to, increase and put 10% in those other accounts again. So you may have to drop down and do 1% in those accounts. The thing is the intention, right? That it's the intention that I'm going to be highly intentional with the way that I manage my money. And then what I'm teaching my money is that that money serves me. And this is a system for how you make money your servant. Constance asked the question, what is the name of the system? Can I find it online? Yes, you can. It comes out of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. This is his system. And it's called the 6-jar system. 6-jar. So he, you know, when he was introducing this back in the day when people were still doing things by paper. So I do everything electronically. So every dollar that comes in, as soon as it clears, most things come in direct deposit for me. As soon as the money clears, I sit down and I do 10% to my tithe, and I send the 5 to the other jars. And I actually have 6 separate accounts. Any questions? Was this helpful? Did you guys hear something that could help you and make things better? Who's going to try the 6-jar system?
I'm definitely going to try it. I don't have any system.
Okay, no resistance? You said no resistance?
No, I said I don't have any system currently. So
Well, I'm going to tell you that you do have a system.
what's the system?
Exactly what you're doing right now with your money.
It's not 6 jars though, because that
I understand what you're saying, but my point is to get that you already have a habit system.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do.
Yeah. And so what I'm suggesting is try this one. Try this one. Commit to it for 90 days. Be 100 with it, right? Don't, and if you need to drop down to 1% in those other jars, no shade, no nothing, no sweat, no shame, no nothing, because it's about the intention. I'm setting the intent, I'm communicating to the universe that I must have money in an education account. So for example, this year, I don't have the book here, it's on another table. I finished the book, The 5 a.m. Club. And you know how Google is, they know what you did. So I started seeing stuff saying, hey, we got this program, the 5 a.m. method, and you can pay and be in the part of the program. Well, in the past, I would have to pull out of current monies to be able to pay for it. But I just went right into the education account and pulled the money out and paid for it because the money was already sitting aside.
So I have one more question.
Sure.
So how would you define money metaphysically?
Money is energy. It's the energy of God.
Okay, so it's energy.
The energy of God.
I have to let that one sink in.
It's the energy of God. Money, the way we use money is a statement of our values. If you show me, I'm assuming you use a debit card to probably cover everything, maybe not too much cash.
Oh yes, I do use a debit card.
So if I saw your debit card statement, you probably felt some kind of way with me even saying that. If I saw your debit card statement, I would be able to tell you what you value.
Yes, you would. Actually.
Yeah. How we spend money is a statement of our values. How we spend money proves what we actually believe in and stand for. And so that's why those 6 accounts, I stand for educating myself. I stand for enjoying money. I stand for my financial freedom because I will not trade time for dollars for the rest of my life. I just will flat out not do that. I will create content. In fact, no, I won't show it just yet. Well, yes, I will, because y'all my people. This is the next thing that's coming. A challenge to change your money game, and it's a workbook. That's the next thing that's coming. And so that money that I am setting aside in the financial freedom account is to pay for the publication of this. to fund this. How many times have we had projects that we wanted to do? Ain't no money set aside for it. You know, you want to buy that laundromat and get that passive income going. Ain't no money set aside for it. But every dollar that comes in today, 5%, before it was 10%, but I had to drop it down. But I will get it back up to 10%. Every dollar that comes in, 10 cent gets put aside because it's going to pay for the publication of this workbook. But just 90 days, just commit. You don't even have to know what your financial freedom vehicle is to get started setting aside money for your financial freedom vehicle. There's a story, go look it up. Lisa Nichols tells the story. Once I had gone through this, I knew she was talking about the secrets of the millionaire mind. But she said, she called it the Buying Her Freedom account or something like that. And out of every check, she would write a check and send it to the bank. And she would write on the memo, I'm buying my freedom. But she never, the statement would come and she never checked the balance. And one day she went into the bank. You got to go look this up. Look up Lisa Nichols Buying My Freedom. Like I know somebody's got a clip of it on YouTube. And she went to the bank and to check on like how much money have I set aside? And they slid the number across the table. And she said, no, my name is Lisa Michelle, whatever her name is, Lisa Renee, Nichols. Because I don't want anybody telling me that I stole somebody's money. She had set aside, using this system, she had set aside $60-some thousand for buying her financial future. And that money became the seed money for her company. You just got to the money builds up so fast. It really, really does. Partly because you're not touching it.
So you're saying the money builds up. Also, this formula is for, I thought it was for the organization of money. It's for the building up of wealth. It's for the building up of money.
It's both and, right? That which is organized grows.
Mm-hmm.
There is no growth where there is no organization. So the moment you organize money, it's going to grow.
Build it and it will come. Okay.
Yes. Go look up the Lisa Nichols thing. If I had a clip, I'll search for a clip. Let me search for a clip. I'll search for a clip and send you guys a clip of that. It may be a longer video if I can't find it. So I'm sending you the percentages. Lisa Nichols. I feel like I said something else. Anyway, okay. And then make sure you have the money points for next week. Wonderful. Thank you guys for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.